Okay, I'm going to go over the answers to direct object practice 2. And again, there was a small number of you that really got this and a lot of you that are struggling and making some mistakes. So I really hope that you go through and watch me do a few of these so you can pick up on the pattern and the questions to ask. It's one of the hardest things about not being together is in practice, you'd have to listen to me. So I hope you're watching how we solve these. So first of all, I can't stress enough, please follow all of the directions. You're supposed to bold the subject, underline the verb, and then highlight the direct object. Because if you find the subject and the verb, it makes the direct object a lot easier. Okay? So, number 2, the Yellowstone River divides the park north and south. Our verb in this sentence is divides. Oops, not sure where my, there we go. So now, before the verb, we look for the subject. We have the Yellowstone River. This is one of those where, honestly, I wasn't picky. If you just put river, that's fine. Technically, it's a proper noun, so the whole thing is Yellowstone River. All right, now we say the river divides what or who? What is being divided? So if we look here, what's being divided? The park. And most of you, again, that one, we had a pretty high success rate. Number 3, it carves a canyon through the mountains. This one, a few people got goofed up just because I think they start looking for the verb in the middle. And here our verb is very close to the beginning of the sentence, but carves as our action. That leaves us with really only one choice. What's the subject? It. Now, it carves what? We have 2 nouns left, canyon and mountains. Well, what is being carved, a canyon or the mountains? Well, it's a canyon that's getting carved. So that is your direct object. Okay, and this is where, again, I really strongly suggest getting rid of your prepositional phrases, because if we go here and we get rid of this prepositional phrase, if we get rid of the prepositional phrase, it makes everything so much easier. So you're going to see me do that in the rest of the sentences. Get rid of the prepositional phrases first, and then realize how many less words we're looking at. Okay, so the next one. In several places, the river falls from steep cliffs. Well, we have 2 different prepositional phrases here. In several places is a prepositional phrase, and from steep cliffs is a prepositional phrase. Well, that leaves us with the river falls. Well, what's the action? The verb, falls. The subject, river. Now, in this case, when we say the river falls, or who's receiving the action of the falling, there's nothing left. All right. Number 5. This one got goofed up, so I honestly did not look at this one on any of yours. A lot of you have Yellowstone as a subject and observe as the verb, variety the direct object. That's fine, but something got goofed up with that sentence, so I didn't really look at that one. Number 6, many species of wildflowers grow in the Rocky Mountains. Now, this one actually, a lot of people goofed up the subject, because if we go through and we look for prepositional phrases, that's one. That's another one. So, we were left with many species grow. Well, again, most of you had the verb correct. What's growing? A lot of you had wildflowers, and I do understand where that comes from, but that's in a prepositional phrase. So the subject here is actually the word species. And I guess one of the things is verbs, if we're not finding the verb correctly, then we got to back up a few steps, because that's something that you have worked on for several years in grammar and several times this year. Subjects, too, are hopefully something that aren't causing you too much problem. The next one, moose roam the area. Our verb is roam. Our subject is moose. And in this case, moose roam what? They roam the area. All right. Number 8. Herds of bison graze in the park. All right. Now again, getting rid of the prepositional phrases will help you because this is where a lot of people had their mistakes. Because if we get rid of those two things, we're left with herds graze. Well, now it's pretty simple. That's the verb, that's the subject, and there is no direct object. There's nothing left. Number 9, the verb. If we get rid of the direct object, that's first. And now we have both grizzlies and black bears live. Live is our verb. And now here, I allowed, some people did grizzlies and black bears, some people just did bears. I accepted either one because that's not what we're really focusing on here, but that's correct. And the last one, again, a lot of people had correct. Frighten was the verb, the bears were the subject, and campers were the direct object. And I think what's getting a lot of people goofed up, well, first of all, direction following is a big part of it. Some people I'm going back and forth numerous times before we even get the directions followed. But for a lot of people, it's this, that look at in these 10 sentences, 5 of them have a direct object, 5 of them do not. Your assignment for today, I made that a little bit simpler. Every single one is going to have a direct object. So we're going to try to make it a little bit easier today. Okay? All right. Have a good day and see you later.